Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today on Customer States What, we have a 2007 Toyota Tundra with the 5.7 liter with damn near 200,000 miles on it. Today, what are we replacing? Well, we're replacing secondary air pumps, secondary air valves, and the breather tube. They're very good. Oh, also intake gaskets and whatnot, and some other incidentals. Some more gaskets right here. They're very good. You guys know what comes next. Let's get into this. So we got to take this guy off right here. We got a 10mm bolt holding it there, and a 12mm bolt holding it there, and a couple of spring clamps. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Then it's out. Next we have the purge valve. Take off the intake right here, 12mm bolt holding it. You have the harness, just unclip it. We're just gonna push that aside. Oh, one other thing, the first step of the whole job, disconnect the negative lead on the battery. Next step is to remove the throttle body. Since we are not draining the cooling system, I remove the throttle body, and I'm going to leave the throttle heater lines attached to the throttle body, and when we go to remove the intake, we're just going to hold this off to the side, and we should be able to remove the intake. Next, you take the brake booster vacuum line off, but first you have to remove the clamp from over there. Move it down the line, give the line a little twist, a little tug, put it off to the side. Giggity. Alright guys, moving along, we did have to remove this foam piece here from here to gain access to the PCV line, positive crankcase ventilation line, so we could remove it. We also had to remove this foam piece right here. It was installed right there. Now the reason why we had to remove that, well, to gain access to all of the intake hardware. Well guys, it's a very good thing I RTFM, referred to the manual, and I do not have to remove the fuel pressure line off of any of the rails. Why? Well, the repair manual said I didn't have to, so I don't have to remove these. So I should, provided that the harness is disconnected from the back. It has two mounting points. There's also another mounting point on the valve cover there and over there. So all I really got to do is just get this other foam piece out and take the hardware out, and then should be out ready to go. Alright guys, we got all the hardware out, so should be ready to come out. Very good. Oh, we can see we got a little bit of FIFO action. Alright, those are the guys we're replacing. Let's continue. Well, we have the intake out, and as you can see, we have some FIFO action, but FIFO did do some damage to the knock sensor harness right here. This is a no start condition waiting to freaking happen. So I ordered a new harness. It'll be in tomorrow, unfortunately. So in the meantime, we're going to continue this repair, but if we get to a point we can't put the intake back on, so we have PB blasted where we can on the exhaust, because there are two nuts that go in this way and on the passenger side that connect to a pipe, or that mount the pipe to the manifold, and then there's another two on this side and this side that mounts that pipe to the secondary air valves. So yeah, but before we go any further, what we're going to do is we're going to block off these ports, because we do not want to have a bad day. Alright guys, something I noticed about this and that I honestly forgot. Now, I've done these before, and for this side, to get the 10mm bolt out of the ear right here is easy, but for the one you can't see, you really can't get to. But they said I was crazy. My little itty bitty ratchet 1/4 inch drive flex head to the rescue again. So now we're going to take it about halfway up, and I'm going to show you the manifold on the driver's side what we have to do to remove that pipe. But, and this is a big but, guys, I remember how to get that bolt out right there. Now, you can't get it out just sitting there because the freaking block is blocking it. So what you have to do is you have to get that pipe out first, then you have to dismount this pipe from the manifold, and then dismount the whole valve assembly off the block, and then you could access that bolt and remove it. And it goes for installation. That one comes off last, but it goes in first. Giggity. Well, alright, here we are at the driver's side wheel well, and here's where that secondary air pipe meets the manifold secondary air portion. So that nut there and that nut there we have to remove. So those nuts are looking good. Giggity. Let's go to the passenger side, and yeah, it tells a little different story. Well, here we are at the passenger side, and as you can see, those nuts are a little rough. Those nuts got some fur on them. And if you look all the way in there, right about there, you can see one of the 10mm bolts that hold in the secondary air pipe. That one we could access through here or from up top. Preferably from here, because you just put like a really long extension on it and you can get to it. These nuts are going to give me the business. Giggity. Driver's side, I think, will come out moderately okay. Fingers crossed. Alright, did I get lucky? There's one, that's a good noise. I think this one I gotta go through the brake line, like right there. Let's see. 2 for 2? Oh yeah! See how the passenger side goes. Oh, okay. Just massage that a little bit. Ah, it's always the bottom one. All right, I'm 3 for 4. Okay, guys, we had 3 mounting bolts holding in the valve, and a 10mm bolt holding in the knock sensor bracket right here. So now with this dismounted, we were able to take this secondary air line out, which goes on the driver's side bank. Now, since it was disconnected on the passenger side, the secondary air line is still attached. So what we did was we maneuvered and were able to twist the entire valve assembly, and now we can remove the inlet, and we can remove the whole thing. Very good. Let's get this out. So there's our nut, or there's our bolt that was way out of the way. Couldn't get to it because the block was sitting in front of it. And our worst part here, we got some drilling and tapping to do. But this hole here, this is Gugat's. I believe we have secondary air codes for these valves. I'm not sure, this job was inherited, so they told me to replace these parts, and I said, say no more. Very good, ladies and gentlemen. We have the brand new secondary air valve already prepped and ready for installation over there. We got the hardware in with new gaskets. Unfortunately, parts did not give us new gaskets here, and they're like on some weird back order. So we cleaned up the old gaskets, we cleaned up both surfaces, we drilled and tapped the damaged hole. As you can see here, we now have good threads. So now we're ready for installation. Let's get it in. Giggity. about at the area where we have to be. Let's get my hand in over here. Make sure my gasket didn't fall off. Alright, very good. Oh god. Oh, and the whole camera move. I hope you guys got that. Well, as I was still on the struggle bus, I went to the top tier of the bus. We got our valve in place. Now there are some rubbers that go here and here, and we're going to keep this loose right now. So we're going to get our other secondary air tube in, and that's this guy right here. Very good. Hardware over here has been tightened, new hardware there. Let's go to the driver's side. Driver's side, same thing, tightened it, and brand new hardware. Now what we're going to do is we're going to install the inner fender on the other side, install the air intake, and we're going to start it up. But I just noticed something really bad. Look at that bushing. There's barely anything left.